Hello, everybody. Today we're going to look at AI Agent Studio. We're going to build a tool, which is going to be a retrieval-augmented generation source of data being a document. Um, to get into AI Agent Studio, you of course have to have the security for AI Agent Studio and admin rights to be able to build agents. Once you're granted that security, you'll go into Tools, and then we'll get into AI Agent Studio. As soon as we get into iAgent Studio, you'll see that you are in the landing page where some of the pre-built templates exist, where you can use the template or you can copy it and create your own modifications. There are teams, which is a collection of agents. You have tools, which could be API endpoints. They could be physical documents that are vectorized within the database and searched upon when called from an agent. And then you have topics, which are akin to a lot of prompt instructions and specific to an agent. Deep links, which are effectively direct links to a specific area within Fusion applications. And then you have business objects, which are also defined as APIs to source data for specific agents. So if you are doing anything with enrollment or payroll, you have business objects you can point, which leverage the security of that user logged in baked into it, since this is Fusion side representation. So we're going to go to tools, and within tools, what we're going to do is we're going to add a new tool, and that tool is going to be effectively a call and a search to a vectorized representation of a document. So the tool type we're going to do is going to be called document. Again, you have the other options of a deep link, a business object. Those are the APIs you can call to Fusion, email notifications that can be sent, or if you want to do external calls, REST calls through API. We're going to do document. Okay. The tool name we can say is our Oracle 25B release docs. Okay. I'm going to give it a code. It automatically gives it a code. Apologies. So HCM for the family. And I'm going to say benefits because I've actually tied a security role to the user to be able to interact with it. And I can say this is my 25B release doc. Okay. If you needed human approval, so especially if you're doing any kind of API calls, you want to prompt the person that's using the agent, hey, do you want us to go here and there? In this situation, since we're calling a document that's publicly available, we don't need to have a human in the loop toggled on. And here we're going to add documents. We can add as many documents, but we're going to do just a single document, 25B notes. We'll keep it in draft right now, and then we'll change its state later on. And we'll say this is the 25B notes. Okay, and then we'll drag and drop notes. We'll select our document. I just have it as a file here, 25B. Okay. And as soon as it's loaded, we're going to save it. And so after you've saved the document in the tool, there it goes. And save. It's been saved, and now you can create the tool. Once you've created it, I might have already used this. Okay, now the tool is created. And let's search it again. There it is, 25B release notes. But you can't use it yet. And the reason you can't use it yet is it's not been indexed and vectorized. For that, you actually have to switch over to your process, schedule a new process. And the process that you want to run is called process agent documents. Okay, so just select it, start the job. Okay, it's been confirmed. Okay, and once that's done, the document will be ready to be used. So in the meantime, while this is processing, let's go ahead and create the agent. So the agent itself, I'm going to add a new agent. Okay, the agent's going to be called A 25B agent. How about that? Okay, I'm going to tie it to that same family and product. We're going to just do couple of, well, actually one is the maximum. I don't think we'll do more than one interaction per time. And description here is going to be the rag example. And then the prompt is really important. So you need to kind of specify the instructions for this agent and what they'll do. A lot of times you can create, and use highly structured markup to specify everything from, the parameters you want to set, the temperature, all the way to what tools to use. So that's what you, in a single sentence, we're going to tell it that use the vectorized data from the tool attached to this agent to answer any questions on. Okay, that's the simplest. Obviously, you can get far more in detail of how the tool is used. If you had any endpoints, what spell those out and what their uses are. If you have MCPs, obviously you could tie those in as well. But this is the simplest representation of it. So we'll go ahead and we'll create that. Now we have our agent created. And once we have the agent created, we're going to tie a tool to it by clicking on this little hammer. We'll select our 25B release notes. So there it is. I think I have another one as well that's already vectorized. I'm not sure if this process has finished yet. It might not have, so let's use this tool. Okay, you're going to add it. You're going to say, okay, this is the one I want to add. And now you'll see that we have the tool attached to the agent. You can, of course, have topics as well, which are kind of even further descriptions and prompt templates defined already within a topic. But for now, we'll just keep the tool and the agent. So we'll go ahead and recreate it. It saves that. And now we've built the agent. And if you really want to kind of deploy and finalize this thing, you then will switch over to the agent teams. You would add a new agent team. Again, the higher collection. Let's call this Oracle release notes. Because maybe you can hold a lot of documents. It's going to create the agent team code automatically, benefits. Agent team for Oracle Docs 2025 Oracle release notes. Okay. And now we have the menu of a agent. We'll create that agent, which is I named that agent 25B agent. Okay, yep, we want to use this agent. This agent has these instructions. It's got this tool. And if you had any topics, they would be listed in here. We add that agent. Okay. And then we publish this. And as soon as it's published it, we'll see it on here, and then we can converse with it and actually ask it questions. Okay. So there it is, the 2025 release notes, the one we just built in version 1, because we haven't altered it at all. And what you can do really quickly, you can, of course, enter this through the me and the AI chat, but you can also play it right here, and then you can ask it something. So now we're going to prompt the LLM and their agent, and let's ask it something very specific from this document, something that is very difficult for any LLM without the knowledge of this document and this tool use. So maybe we go down here to resubmitting approval and transactions, and we ask it the effect of enabling this profile option. Okay. So in our chat, what are the effects? Of enabling this. Okay, because this is something that's very specific, but let's see if it returns the actual documentation explanation of what these effects are. So we're going to submit this to the agent. The agent will then start performing tool calls based on the knowledge it has. And one of those tool calls will be to the document we indexed. That document is, of course, vectorized. It's chunked. That chunks are vectorized. And right now, the database is doing a search for all these tokens, because this is of course also been vectorized. And then once it does its search, it's going to return the sources and of course what the actual description is. So this little description right here should be akin to what's in this document right here as well. Okay. And one beautiful thing here is it also will cite the sources. Okay, so these are the release notes, and you can actually see this is the chunk of data. So it's probably something in the order of maybe 300 words that it's been chunked to. So it kind of releases it. And I'm sure in future releases, this is going to be a lot cleaner as well. And much easier to look at the actual document that's been referenced. But it returned, it looked at the actual sources. That's why it returns this source, that it used a RAG pipeline. It did not use its own LLM knowledge store to answer this question. Okay. That's a simple creation of the tool, vectorizing it by running the process, tying the tool to the agent, then creating the agent team, and then testing out and asking it a very specific question against the document itself. Okay, thanks for watching. See you next time.